Hey everyone, welcome back to Cody Tarot. I'm your tarot reader, Cody. So for today's pick a card, we have a very interesting reading. So I got these little bead pieces at a music festival that I went to recently with a friend of mine. And they're each one of the elements from the Avatar TV show that was on, I think, Nickelodeon, right? Anyway, so if you know Avatar, you will know these little symbols. But basically, I was trying to think of the show Avatar, and I was like, let's do a reading kind of themed around the show, or like, let's do a question that's with the show. And I'm just imagining, the only thing I can think of is that they go on this journey, right? And they have to go all to these different places and go on this journey and overcome these obstacles. So I wanted to do a reading about the next steps on your journey, or the next challenges on your journey, or what is coming forward for you on your path forward. We also we'll be discussing kind of like, we might get into like paths or routes you could go, but for the most part, we're going to be seeing what's coming next on your path forward, on your journey forward in life, and what you can do about these next things coming forward. So yeah, so what's coming in next? We have our first pile is the fire bracelet. So it's for the Fire Nation. And then the next one we have is the air bracelet. That's group 2. Group 3 is the earth bracelet. And lastly, group 4 is the water bracelet. So, I mean, this could kind of, as far as like picking your crystal and stuff, I'll give you guys a moment to pick your crystal right now. If you want to, you can pick your crystal based on what type of, like, if you've seen the show Avatar, what type of bender you'd want to be. Would you rather want to be a fire bender? Would you rather want to manipulate fire, manipulate air, manipulate earth, or manipulate water? Whichever element you kind of feel more dominion over, that might resonate with you in this reading. Or you could just like the colors in the bracelet or whatever. Or you pick with your intuition. If your intuition's calling you to a specific pile versus another one, that can represent your reading. Also, for this reading, it's possible that you might want to come back to this reading in the future for when you're further along in your journey and pick a different pile than you picked today. Because there's going to be different, people can be on different parts of their journey, or like one person, for example, between ages like, let's say like 17 and 18 can have the same journey points that someone between the ages of 37, 38 had. And so, you can have different parts of your journey at different times in your life. So I'll let you guys pick your crystals now. You can pause the video here if you need to. All right, with that said, we're going to get on with the readings, starting with group number 1 with the fire bracelet. Hey, group 1, this is if you picked the fire bracelet right there in the corner. Let's get into your reading. So first, I'm going to shuffle the oracle cards on camera today, and we're going to leave the tarot card. The tarot cards have been pre-shuffled already. So I'm going to shuffle the oracle cards on camera right now. I'm going to shuffle this Moonology deck. Hopefully all 3 will fit up there. And pull right here. And we have nothing will come of this situation. Interesting. And then we're going to pull an oracle of the 7 energies. It's too many. Hope everyone is doing well. And we have Wish Upon a Star. And then I'm pulling a numerology guidance card as well. We have moderation. Let's flip over the rest of your cards. We have, I'm not taking reversals today, by the way. So we have suspension, which I believe is equivalent to the hangman. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles. Then we have the folly, which is the tower. Then the moon. And then we have the 4 of spells, which is the 4 of wands. And we have the empress. Now, just so you guys know, the moon came up in your reading upright. So just something to keep in mind at the very beginning is that it might be difficult to see what lies ahead, or as you're moving forward, it might be difficult to kind of figure out where you stand on particular subjects or where you stand in particular areas of your life, basically. It's almost like things are unclear. There's not really kind of like a clear path forward or a clear understanding. The moon can also talk about like wilder energies. As you see here, she's holding these 3 animals. She's holding a wolf, a lobster, and a dog, representing all different aspects of kind of like the animal world. Like you have wild animals, like domesticated animals, and on top of that you have kind of like a sea creature, and the sea creature to me represents kind of like the animal within our subconscious mind, right? So let me take a look at this and we'll get into the reading. Okay, let's get into what I'm seeing here. So first off we have nothing will come of this situation. And when this card first came out, I realized that this next path in your life, or this next time in your life, there's not going to be a lot of momentum for action. So if you're thinking or you're wanting kind of like a more action-packed next chapter of your life, that this is not going to be the time for this. So nothing will come of this situation just indicates that even if you try to create a lot of action or you try to create a lot of like momentum, there's going to be like halts or blockages. And that's kind of what we're seeing here with the moon card as well, right? Basically, not being able to see a clear path forward is what I was mentioning earlier. And so that's kind of like what's going on a little bit. With the suspension and the hangman card, this next period of your life is designed to be a pause. It's meant to be a kind of a break that you take away from kind of like the path of your journey on life, right? So it's interesting. This card is about the next step in your journey. And the next step in your journey is more of like a kind of like relaxed phase of life is what I could say. I'm seeing these kind of as sections of the next phase or the next part of your life. So there's little aspects that are going into the situation. With suspension and 10 of Pentacles, it is almost like, it's kind of weird. It's like the less you do, the more you're rewarded. And I know that sounds very counterintuitive. Usually we think like the harder we work, the more rewards we receive. But what I'm seeing here with the suspension, the hangman, is you have a fortune coming in with the 10 of Pentacles. And this fortune could actually be from family members or people close to you, or even 10 of Pentacles to me represents family that is not just like immediate family, but like it could be aunts or uncles or cousins, or even like distant relatives, even depending on how big your family is. This can also indicate like a sense of friendship or family or community outside of kind of like your immediate family or your blood relatives. 10 of Pentacles also can deal with generational wealth. So there might be something with generational wealth coming down for you or to you in this next kind of chapter. And with the suspension card, it's just saying that pausing and taking a moment to like realize what is happening is going to be very beneficial. I see that this man is encased in a tree, and he's basically in amber, right? And amber, it's interesting. Amber is supposed to help with depression. So I see this as being like a very happy time for you, not really too dark or disastrous. I know we have the folly here, which represents the tower. But the thing with the tower and the moon card is it's basically just saying that you're not really going to be able to see the changes being made, right? The moon card represents illusions and the veil and not being able to see clearly, For example, when there's a full moon at night, you can see everything clearly, but when there's no moon, it's just complete darkness, right? And kind of when there is a section of the moonlight, when you're looking out into the moonlight, it's kind of difficult to see everything super clearly or in super like bright color like you do with the sunlight. And so what we're seeing here with the moon and the folly is it's almost like these disasters or things, it's not even disasters. It's just the change of your perspective, or the breakdown of kind of like a structure that you have going on in your life. It's definitely indicating to me that like these breaking downs of structures, you're not really going to be able to see totally clearly. You're not going to be able to see what's breaking down around you. And I know that sounds strange. Usually it's like you would be able to feel this, right? Because with the folly here, with this tree trunk, we have a situation where it's been broken in half and all these birds are flying around. It's a very kind of like jarring situation. But with the moon card here, it's definitely softening the blow of this, basically saying that, you know, the moon card usually means kind of like it can be a negative connotation of not being able to see, or having your dreams heightened, or kind of being too in the illusionary world. But right now, and with this next to this Tower card, it's representing a very positive thing. It's representing the fact that a lot of structures in your life are going to be breaking down around you, but you're not going to be able to see it. I definitely see that you kind of come out on the other end with a new idea of where to go and a new idea of what to do and move forward from this particular point. But yeah, let me get back to the Ten of Pentacles and the Suspension card. I definitely see this pause being a very happy one, right? A time to relax with family, to relax with kind of immediate family or close friends, or that kind of supportive group that you have, and kind of take some time out. Definitely this is a period that's supposed to be of happiness and recovery. So that's really important here. And basically it's saying that if you work with the Void of Course move, or you try to make any steps forward or manifest anything, nothing will kind of come of it. Nothing will come of your actions during this next period of your life. With Wish Upon a Star, this is a time to desire and to create new. If you look at this card, this is kind of like a child on this card, indicating that there's kind of like a sense of innocence and curiosity that in your next path forward, there's going to be this kind of cultivation of that, of kind of wanting new things or new beginnings. And with 39 up here, that kind of adds up to 3, basically. So we also have the Empress card down here, and she's representing, the Empress can represent someone who's like pregnant or something. So I definitely see this kind of new idea forming, this new idea coming to fruition. And so you're kind of in the planning stages. It's important though to recognize the aspects of desiring something and then also acting on those desires. If you're very used to being in the active role and acting on all your desires as soon as you have them, this is basically telling you to sit with those desires. Definitely wish upon a star, wish for things to get better, wish for a different reality if that's what you want. But then it's almost saying don't try to act on those wishes or try to make those wishes come true. This is the period where it's time to dream. As you see, this child's eyes are closed and it's holding this star. This is a time to dream, to look within, and to kind of figure those things out. Especially the Moon card too, represented here. This is a card about nighttime, and so dreaming is very important here. Yeah, this is a period where you're going to be kind of like, I feel there's a sense of isolation from others, but it's almost like it's needed because the universe is kind of ordering things around you, and kind of the more you act and kind of interfere, the less the universe is going to be able to order the correct circumstances in your environment to your advantage, basically. And meanwhile, you're kind of percolating in your own mind the new ideas that are going to kind of come through in this next chapter. One warning here with moderation is to make sure you're moderate in all of your urges. So for example, we already talked about kind of holding yourself back from action, right? Or just knowing that if, you do decide to start something in this next period, nothing will really come of it. This is a time for suspension, a time to relax with family, a time to kind of enjoy the fortune you've built so far, or enjoy the fortune that others are providing for you. With moderation here, this is just indicating that you don't want to let that get too out of hand. Like, we definitely don't have the 9 of Pentacles, we have the 10 of Pentacles. So it's more a card about community and less independence. And there's a sense of moderation in the sense that I'm definitely saying with your social life, it's important to balance the social life with alone time, even though the activity portion of this time is going to be lower in like nature, basically. Yeah, basically the main message is that in this next phase, things are kind of breaking down around you, but you're not going to be able to see what's exactly breaking down, And it's going to affect all aspects of kind of like your existence, your subconscious, your wild side, your tame side. Coming out of this energy as this period is ending, we see that you will recognize the end of this period because there will be a celebration. There will be some kind of like pivotal moment or celebration or kind of like event that takes place where there's going to be a lot of people relaxing and having fun and having a really good time. This is kind of the signal, this kind of celebratory moment that's kind of indicating and kind of breaking the veil of this moon card. If you think of typically the sun card representing optimism and positivity and good nature, and kind of like a sense of like, I want to say almost benevolence. With the moon card here, it's interesting because we have this four of spells representing a breakdown of that moon energy and that night energy. So you're coming out of this kind of hibernation into the light of day. You know, it's important about this kind of 10 of Pentacles energy with your family members. I know this is a practicality card because it's a Pentacles card, but I'm definitely seeing like a sense of camaraderie with these people and your immediate family kind of, or your distant relatives or your close friends basically. With Four of Spells, we're seeing this kind of like celebration where you're bringing that kind of energy, that celebratory energy out of that time period. Where you were in this kind of hibernation mode, and you're bringing that happiness that you felt inside this hibernation mode, and you're bringing it out and sharing it with others. This is really what I'm seeing here is a moment to recenter yourself. And it's not only about recentering yourself and getting yourself back on balance, but the truth is, as you're getting yourself back on balance, as you're figuring out what your needs are, as you're figuring out what you need to focus on, what's going on around you is like the universe is rearranging itself to kind of create a better environment for you too. So when you emerge from your kind of, chrysalis? Is that what the word is? When you emerge from your chrysalis, there is kind of like a welcoming with this Four of Spells card. If you think of the original tarot, there's some people off in the distance, you're walking through an archway and they're waving to you. You know, they're kind of welcoming you over to the castle, welcoming you to the party. And what we see here are these people are walking into the woods. So this is about breaking through and continuing on your journey at this point. By this point, I definitely think you will have a solid sense of what you desire to do next or what you desire to like make next in your life because you will have had the time and space to dream about these things. Moderation also very specifically is talking about regulating your indulging with food and drink, specifically kind of like not making sure you're not is because you're kind of like in a period where you're not that active. Or not making kind of like your big power moves, you know, with nothing will come in this situation. It's basically saying like, keep a monitor on your health because when you go and kind of isolate a little bit, you can maybe start to overindulge, overdrink, overeat, something like that. Overindulge in something because it's kind of like not the state you're used to. So it's just asking you to remember to be moderate in all those dealings and kind of have a level of moderation with that kind of stuff. Anyway, with Four of Spells and the Empress card, it looks like when you emerge out of this situation and you're walking forward on your path into the future, you have a couple of comrades with you. You have a couple of friends who are joining you on this journey, probably some friends from this big community that you're spending time with. And with the Empress card, this is all about beginnings in the sense that, you know, she's about to birth this idea. She's about to birth this child. I mean, you can think of this child as being in the womb, thinking, creating, formulating their personality. And then when this Empress card comes out, it's just like the moment when you're kind of giving birth to this idea, giving birth to this new way of being. Yeah, the sense of reordering is really important. So it's interesting because you will kind of know when this celebration is going to take place. You're going to kind of intuitively feel it, or you'll know that it's kind of something that's set up in the distance. So there is kind of like a time frame, right, where there's this kind of next coming celebration for you, and you're going to know what that celebration is. This could be something as small as like a house party, or, you know, it could be something as large as a wedding or going to a concert or, you know, music festival or something like that. Or I say that just because I went to a music festival recently, but it could be anything like that. It could be a get together, a gathering, anything. It could be even be like an outing that you plan with your friends. If this next phase of life, say for example, is going to take only like a week or a very short amount of time, this could be a time period, basically, where you're getting together with a friend or a few friends that you haven't really seen in a while, or maybe it has been hard to organize the time to get together with them. You're finally getting together, or maybe your family goes out and does something to celebrate. There is some kind of celebratory aspect to this, so it's like almost like a milestone being reached, and I'm definitely seeing it's something with your family specifically. So yeah, there's something with your close ones and success from your close ones and kind of basking in that. And then kind of when you guys emerge from that or celebrate from that, or when that's kind of completed, that's when you can kind of move on with this new idea or this new kind of thing coming through, and become, basically that's kind of your signal to action that this nothing will come of this situation is over. You can start acting again. Things will come of your actions. You won't run up against too many roadblocks, too many walls, because the universe has reordered itself to create a path for you. You know, it's like it's kind of like with this enchanted forest deck, if you want to use a forest metaphor, it's like you are stuck in the forest and it's nighttime and it's dark, and you know, you don't know your exact path forward, but it's kind of like some little universe fairy comes over and like puts candles along the path for you, and you can like follow that path. If you look at these guys right here, they're following these lit up flowers, right? And these flowers are kind of lit up, and they're following this path on into the next area of their life, basically. So, you know, take that metaphor as it resonates, if it resonates. And yeah, you're kind of just letting the universe reorder itself. And so sometimes that happens to us. Sometimes if nothing is happening, or we're having a situation where we're running up against walls, there's a lot of like red flags or things blocking us from achieving our goals, and we're just kind of like, you know, running up against obstacle after obstacle, it's because we need to take a step back and to kind of not reassess, that's not exactly the right word, but go into a state of dreams, right? Go into a state of dreaming again, you know, where you're in a state of wishing or wanting or creating desires within your own mind. You know, it might even take a while to get to this state, you know, but let yourself get there. That's kind of a pivotal moment. That's kind of a pivotal landmark in this next part of your journey, is getting yourself into that dreamlike state where you can think and decide and desire what you kind of want and how you want your path to move forward. Because with nothing will come of this situation, and with the tower and the moon here, I definitely see there's just this aspect of the universe kind of wants you to like chill out, take it easy, be in this suspension, because they want to reorder things for you to like get you kind of an easier, clearer path, right? If you're kind of getting blocks, it's because you're kind of interfering with the like what the universe is trying to reorder itself for you, basically. So you have to kind of like let that happen. You have to let the universe do a little bit for you. And I think everything will be all clear. You know, I'm definitely seeing this celebration as something that's kind of like a landmark to bring you out of that hibernation. It's kind of like an outing with friends, or an outing kind of that kind of nature. And it looks really joyful. You know, fire, sometimes with fire, I think of creativity. I also think of destruction. So you can think of like things in your life, your outer life, you know, like inside, you're going to be really creative. You're going to have this center of warmth and light emanating from you, but it's meant for you to bask in, for you to stay warm. And then on the outside, you have the destruction of kind of what's going on, is in a sense of how the order and structure of your outer environment is going to get reordered for you and ready for you to kind of tackle it eventually when you get to this kind of stage right here. So yeah, the only thing I want to there's kind of like a warning, basically, like when you're kind of going within, you're getting into this dream state, just make sure you don't overindulge too much. Do everything in moderation. You don't want to get too out of hand and like, you know, end up kind of like in a space where you're kind of like burnt out from like what's the word, hedonistic drives, where you're kind of like overindulging too much and you kind of losing your edge, basically. You want to keep your edge while you're in this dreaming state, you know, and so that's also important as well. Very cool. So yeah, so that was your reading, group number 1. I hope you enjoyed that reading. If you did, you can like or comment below. If you really liked the reading and you really enjoyed my energy, you can subscribe to the channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, I will move on to group 2 with the air bracelet. Hey, group 2, this is if you picked the air bracelet. We will get into your reading right now. Okay, interestingly enough, I just had a deja vu, like as I'm filming this reading just now. And it's interesting because I don't know if that resonates with any of you. Maybe you've been having deja vus, but I just want to let you guys know that I just kind of had a deja vu of filming this reading and holding that specific bracelet up. So if deja vus resonate with you specifically, that might be a sign in your journey or your upcoming journey that is important to look out for. Like it might be a sign to know that you're entering this next phase of your life as a deja vu. But I pre-drew tarot cards today, and I'm also going to draw oracle cards or shuffle oracle cards on camera. So we'll do that. Oh, we already got one. And we have Bring Love into the Situation, New Moon in Aquarius. Then I'm going to take a Oracle of the Seven Energies card. And we got two, so I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to put Smoke and Mirrors over Willing Release, but I'll show you both of them right there. We have Willing Release and Smoke and Mirrors, 49 and 42. I'll put those like there. And we're going to take a numerology guidance card and see what is the guidance for this next path. I think we'll have to draw for this one. And we have Karmic Completion. Okay, let's flip over your tarot cards and see what you have. For your first card, we have Child of Challenges, which is similar to the Page of Swords. You have the Four of Wands. The other group got the Four of Wands in the other deck, basically. Then we have Eight of Challenges. Oh, interesting. Some sword and wand energies, fast moving energy. Three of Pentacles, and we're slowing down with the Three of Pentacles. It's like a race. It could be a commentator. The oldest one, which is like the Hierophant. We also have the Six of Pentacles. So let's see here. Okay, we have some interesting stuff going on here. This kind of two cards is where the deja vu is coming through. Gosh, there's just so much. I want to get started. Okay, so where you're like starting out your journey, we have the Child of Challenges here. It's kind of this like innocent yet strategic viewpoint of like the next steps you want to take in your life. So it's almost like you're curious about where you want to go next, and you have kind of like the sense of strategy of like, where should I go next? I don't want to make any mistakes when I go next. I kind of want to make a strong battle plan as I get there. And you're kind of in a more strategic area of your life. And that kind of in a way changes, and you go on more of a emotional journey through. But it's interesting because we have like the Child of Challenges, which represents youth, and then we have a card that's literally called the Oldest One right here. And this person is made of a tree, and they have quite of an old face compared to this young child's face. So there is kind of like a definitely growing up in this journey that is definitely here, and kind of learning lessons in life. So this next chapter of your life, it's not going to be just a chapter where you're like doing nothing or anything like that. You're definitely learning some lessons, and there's a lot of transitions that you're going through. So first, with Bring Love into the Situation, this is going to be just important overall into the whole path of your journey, right? Especially at the end here, it ties it all together. But Bring Love into the Situation is especially important at the beginning with this Four of Wands. There's something about a celebration, like with the last group, there was a celebration that marked the kind of the end of the beginning for the next chapter of their life. This group, there's kind of like a celebration to mark like an epiphany or an understanding. Some type of fun activity or like party or something like that really makes you feel loved and accepted. It's kind of like a group of people, but it's almost like, I want to say it's almost like an activity. For some of you, it could be a group of people, but for most of you, it's kind of like it's almost like a vacation is what I'm saying. It's almost like a pause or kind of like a structure or some activity that you're doing with others that makes you feel more loving or loving energy. It kind of wakes you up out of this Child of Challenges energy with the the strategy and kind of create some epiphanies in your mind. So you have been thinking about your next steps, your next battle plan, and it's almost been going around in circles in a sense where you haven't been really thinking too clearly as far as directionally, like having a path forward. And then we see here that this kind of solidifies more of that direction. It's like you're getting signs from the universe kind of showing you like, okay, this is kind of the path you want to take, and it's more focused on your feelings or your emotions. It's interesting because we have wand energy, sword energy, pentacle energy, but we have no cup cards. And it's interesting that I'm seeing that, because what I'm seeing is that there's almost this sense of like emotion that needs to come out. It's because it's almost like what's missing, because it's like missing in the reading. So it's like missing in your life, and I just saw like a flicker on my crystal. So that's an indication of, confirmation. So basically being in such a strategizing mode, or kind of being in the mode of kind of thinking things through too much, really strategizing, like thinking out the next battle plan, the next step to take, but not really knowing and just kind of pondering it over and over again. It's too much. And so this party, or this energy that you pick up from this gathering, basically, or this activity, I'm saying for some of you, it's like an activity, you do a new activity and you're like, whoa, this new activity like aligns me, right? Basically, whatever this is, this awakening, we'll just call it an awakening, it gets you to start moving in specific directions, right? It looks as if with 3 of Pentacles and 8 of Challenges, you have to be on a team with someone, like you have to work with people on a team. But it looks like with the 8 of Challenges, you feel trapped by this team. You feel like you can't make any moves forward. It's like they're almost like ripping at your personality. So it's almost like with this woman with her dress being ripped by these thorns, right? It's like these people are kind of like slowly nagging or tearing away at like who you are as an individual. So I'm definitely saying something about like restraining the self, or restraining kind of like the identity of you, or something like that. Like this kind of team is like, or people you're working with are kind of like affecting your identity, or like how you view yourself, I guess is a better way to describe it. So it's making you feel trapped. But it's interesting because you have this like sense of motivation from this activity or this group of people or whatever this activation is right here. You want to get out of this, right? And so you have to deal with this situation. And that's what the cards are kind of bringing up, is like, this is kind of like the block that's getting in the way. And you weren't able to see it until you had this epiphany of this activity, right? Bring love into the situation. It means that like with this situation, you want to deal with it in a very loving way. And this is kind of like the important thing to recognize here, because this is almost like, it's not even about, like removing yourself from this team, or like say this is a job situation, like quitting your job. This is about, with the smoke and mirrors and the willing release, you will be getting like deja vu moments like crazy, right? And with smoke and mirrors and willing release, it's really like literally talking about this section. So because your identity is being kind of torn at or kind of ripped at basically by these people, there's a situation where it's like, it's not exact. That's basically saying this is not exactly the case. It's just kind of how you're perceiving it. With smoke and mirrors and willing release, when you have a deja vu, things kind of get kind of like, with the smoke and mirrors card, I'm seeing kind of like a smoky, mirry, reflecting kind of thing, right? Where you're going to have a moment where you're looking at someone and they're going to kind of seem surreal to you, like they're not really there. And it'll be because they're saying something to you or doing something to you. And that's at a moment where you can kind of realize that they are conflicting with your identity, and you don't need to take that on, right? This 8 of Challenges card, always in tarot, we're always seeing this woman who's trapped, but she's really free. She could easily move the bandages. She could easily get out of that situation. She just thinks she's trapped. I mean, here it's a little more literal because there's like thorns ripping at her dress and stuff. But in the original card, that's kind of the indication, that's the meaning of it. And so one of the things to keep in mind here is that they're not really ripping away at your personality, right? They're not really ripping away at your identity. It's going to feel like that with the way they're talking to you and stuff. But what I'm saying here is with smoke and mirrors and willing release, it's looking at what's an illusion with this particular situation. And with willing release, releasing that connection to them, that effect that they have on your identity. Like, what makes you think that they even have any power over you? You can even think of that concept. Basically, it's going to help you work better with this team to realize that this team kind of is flawed, or this team kind of like not flawed. There's just a sense of like them seeing your specific identity as different than how you see it, kind of. So they're not really tearing away at your identity. It's almost like an illusion that they are. There are moments where there's definitely a disconnect. So I don't want to like tell you that it's all in your head, right? Because it's not all in your head. There's definitely a disconnect and you're realizing it in this week. So it's interesting for a lot of you, it's almost like you didn't realize this team was having this effect on you until you had this activated moment, right? Until you had this activity that kind of awakened you, you realize like, whoa, all these people, it's like now that you're awakened and now that you're alive and awoke basically as a person, it's like now you're realizing, oh, these people have this negative effect on my identity. This could be even a situation where these people are changing you or like projecting on you who they think you should be. And with smoke and mirrors, it's basically just saying that they can't really see you, right? The mirror is only reflecting like smoke. It's like smoke and mirrors. They can't really get a good grasp on it, right? And so willing release is releasing those concepts and ideas and kind of saying like, you know what, like they no longer affect me. You know what, they no longer can get on my nerves, or you know what, like that's okay. I'm still going to be me. This is basically about standing tall and kind of still being you in the face of people thinking that you're someone else, right? Kind of releasing their expectations. As soon as they put them on you, like, hey, you're this person or blah, 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 right? Then you're just kind of like releasing them. Like, you know what? I know like you think that, but you know what? That's just an illusion. There's just an illusion here. You know, I'm seeing you in an illusionary way. Like I literally feel like for a lot of you, you're going to sort of disassociate when these people are making these comments to you. And it's going to be a very trippy experience because you're going to realize there's a block about perception of how you guys perceive each other. And I'm definitely seeing over here with the 8 of challenges, a strengthening of your identity, a letting go of these restraints or these confines of other people's expectations. This is in a sense a karmic completion cycle. A lot of these people have come into your life to deal with some karma or some issues you're dealing with. So if some of those issues pop up in your identity that maybe you're not good enough, or maybe you want to, you're trying to figure out how to satisfy expectations from the environment around you. With willing release, it's about looking those and being like, well, that's just not who I am, and letting it go, right? You're really in tune with your identity because of this awakening period. And this is kind of a purging to kind of like, and also with smoke and mirrors, there's a sense with the mirror part of this card of reflecting, right? So as soon as they kind of project on you, you can freely reflect back to them who you really are with a statement of such as like, well, I'm not like that. Or, nah, you got me wrong. That's not really who I am. Stuff like that. And just kind of like releasing that kind of like expectation that they have over you. With karmic completion, I definitely see the sense of identity. Really, this is very long-term vision, right? Right here. Like this is kind of like whatever your next journey is, like this is a very long-term focus. So I don't think this is something that's coming overnight or immediately, but you will start to see signs of it. People will start to recognize because you're kind of like living in your identity, right? And yeah, what also bring love into the situation is just a key component here. Sorry, going back to this, I know I just jumped, but because there's no cup cards, right? There's a lack of emotions in this type of progression, your next part of your journey. So bringing love into the situation, making sure you're like saying loving words, saying kind words to people, doing everything with like a sense of kindness or love or compassion is really important to kind of get through this next steps, because it's just going to make things a lot smoother. So when you're releasing people, it's not about saying like, getting into a conflict with these people. It's about kind of like lovingly kind of like saying like, no, I'm not really like that. And then like setting it aside and releasing that expectation. So it's a very like loving kind of vibe, or at least it's encouraging you to bring all that into the situation. Okay, back to what I was saying over here. Because your identity is so strong and structured and you kind of are letting go of these thorns, you're kind of sewing back together your ripped dress right here, there's this element that you're kind of growing into a wise, structured, stable person. Like with these roots and these branches, you're really feeling yourself and your identity. I have a deck that I made on my own. And the card is tree, and it's basically talking about how if you're a seed, you can only grow into being one tree. Like if you're an oak seed, you're only going to grow into an oak tree. If you're an apple seed, you'll only grow into an apple tree. So it's about that like sense of destiny, your path forward. And it's interesting, we're talking about your journey. There is kind of a destiny for you to become sort of like a teacher to others. And we're definitely seeing that really strongly here with the old one. You're going to realize that you're going to start kind of, how do I explain this? Showing others the way. Where others kind of tried to teach you with this Three of Pentacles energy, you're trying to project onto you. Once your identity is strong enough, and once you kind of get through these different things, you'll be able to start teaching and leading others to kind of be their true selves. We see this again here with the Six of Pentacles as far as this woman, this kind of affluent woman, and she's, I don't know if you guys can see that, this card's kind of hard to see, with that woman, and she's kind of like, she's right there, and she's kind of delivering this money to these people right here. This is kind of you delivering kind of guidance. It's almost like you're a tree with fruit on it, right? And as you're growing, you know, it's almost like, it's interesting because these people in this group situation, they didn't really realize that they were kind of keeping you down, or they were taking all the sunlight, right? But the thing is they don't bear fruit. You bear fruit. You're the tree that bears fruit. So when you grow up, when you grow into yourself and you're growing older and older, you're starting to bear fruit. You're starting to be the profitable, abundant one that others come to for kind of resources or wisdom or things like that. I'm definitely feeling the King of Pentacles energy here. So with a lot of you, this could even be kind of like dealing with identity as far as like with this activity and stuff, with finding something that's your true calling and kind of becoming abundant in that true calling, kind of becoming abundant in that talent, and kind of, in a way, being able to provide fruit and provide that talent for others who are coming to you for your services, basically. Yeah, it's interesting. There is this kind of sense of liberation here. There's this kind of sense of getting out of your head a little bit and getting into action. There's a few things trapping you. At first, it's like your mind, which is broken down by this activity or this group of people or this energy that comes into your life. Then with the Eight of Pentacles, this is about kind of like your identity and kind of like being held back by kind of like the opinions of coworkers or colleagues. With Three of Pentacles, these are relationships that are not really close to you. They're almost like superficial relationships or work relationships or people you have to deal with to make your way financially in the world. Yeah, and you grow into this very like wise, beautiful person who can provide fruit for others. I mean, you're going to be a very powerful, strong tree. People will be able to sit in the shade of your branches for like forever, basically. You're going to become this very powerful kind of like figure. The oldest one is also representative of the Hierophant. So there's almost a sense of a religious aspect to this. And especially with the Six of Pentacles and this woman, she's giving me vibes of like nobility and kind of like being able to be kind of like the one that other people come to for advice or, you know, wisdom or something like that. I'm definitely seeing that whatever this is, you could also profit off it pretty like strongly, you know, with the abundance in the tree here. And then also with the Six of Pentacles here, there is a sense that you could profit off of this. And with karmic completion, this is just something you're supposed to go through. You're supposed to come to these realizations. It's a part of your karma to basically kind of have dealt with kind of people's opinions of you, kind of holding you back or tearing you down, and then kind of coming out on your own and realizing they don't really have an effect on you. They don't really have a power over you, right? With willing release, the release of these statements people are making towards you or these things that are coming at you, with willing release, it's about willingly releasing them. So you might want to sit down, have a meditation when you're off your shift or whatever, and kind of look within and be like, I'm releasing this expectation that this person put on me. Like forevermore, I will not deal with this expectation of me anymore. I will live by my own standard. Even thinking of what your own standard is, I see here you have a very strong sense of self and motivation right here, right? So thinking of what that standard is and kind of enforcing it within you and making that a powerful thing, you know, because you're coming out of this situation, right? The swords are dropping, the branches are falling away. So yeah, this is looking really good. The next stage of your life, there's a lot of growth, a lot of healing. With the deja vu thing, it's definitely a reason why I got that deja vu is because the smoke and mirrors and willing release, this is going to seem very illusionary, like it's happened before. Someone's going to say something to you in this group and you're going to be like, wait a minute, that seems familiar. People have been saying that to me all my life. why have people been saying that to me all my life? You know, why is this kind of repeating itself, you know? And then kind of going within and being like, you know, it's because I haven't really released that part of me that kind of is not really that thing, right? I haven't released that sense of expectation from others, you know? Hopefully that was clear. If you like that reading, oh yeah, the reading is over now. If you like that reading, please like or comment below. If you really like this reading and you really resonated with my energy, feel free to subscribe to my channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. With that said, we're gonna move on to the, thank you for letting me read for you guys. And with that said, we're moving on to group 3 with the Earth Bracelet. Hey, group 3, this is if you picked the Earth Bracelet right here. So let's get into your reading. So I pre-drew the tarot cards and we're gonna shuffle oracle cards on camera today. So let me do that. And we'll start with the Moonology deck. Oh. And we have Show the World the Real You. Interesting, because this is, the theme is kind of traveling from the last group. Because that was kind of somewhat of the theme of the last group. It's interesting, they had new moon Aquarius. This is full moon in Aquarius. If you go back through the last group, you'll realize it's kind of like what they're manifesting from the new moon to the full moon. So it's almost like you're starting kind of from where they left off, if that makes sense. Let me get you a numerology card. I'm doing the order a little differently than I shuffled the order for the last 2 groups. Just feeling it for some reason. So we have leadership. And for your Oracle of the 7 Energies card, let's pull that right now. Fun fact about this deck that I feel called to share. When I first got this deck, I didn't like it very much. And so I didn't use it that often, but as time went on, I really enjoyed it. And I was really excited for it because it was like all about the chakras and stuff. And, you know, 7 energies, 7 chakras. And so I have to read the guidebook again because I usually just read intuitively off the cards. And so seeing beyond, okay. Yeah, sometimes I just see beyond the guidebook and read the card. Oh, bad joke. Okay, so anyway, let's get into your reading. We'll flip over the tarot cards and then we'll start reading. So we have 2 of Spells. Oh, by the way, I'm not taking reversals. 9 of Pentacles. 7 of Spells. Strength. Wow. And 10 of Wands. So it's interesting. This card is sticking out to me, this 8 of Pentacles card. And it's interesting because I was analyzing the whole pattern. I'm like, okay, this all connects. But then this card kind of sticks out randomly. It's almost like incongruent with the rest of the story that we have going on here. Because we really have somewhat of a story about kind of like development of like character. Similar to the last group. A little bit. It's just interesting because with this 8 of Pentacles, there's like more to the story, I think. We'll have to see. I think this card's going to come to me as the reading moves forward. So sometimes that happens in readings. You don't know what a card is until you start actually like reading out loud, you know? So let's get into it. So first of all, with this new period of your life, the kind of main theme is show the world the real you. And that's going to lead into this kind of leadership role. But we start kind of in this area where it's almost like you've been practicing with 2 spells. This person is literally using divination sticks to kind of like see things. And there's kind of like little sparkly stars there that kind of represent like the magic of it all. But 2 of spells usually represents kind of like planning. So this kind of interesting because what we have here is divination. It's kind of like looking into the beyond, with seeing into the beyond, looking into the beyond, looking into like tarot or any kind of divinatory, like even tea leaves or crystal ball gazing or anything like that, using some form of divination to plan your future. This also shows me with seeing beyond and this Two of Spells how dreamy your character is. It's almost like I want to give you a little shout out here to just reiterate that you are intuitive. I mean, I feel like a lot of you watching this reading don't realize that, or don't realize how connected you are to your third eye, or how connected you are, your ability to divine the future. It's almost like you can see into the future. That's definitely something that's coming through for a lot of you, that you kind of know what's going to happen. Especially with the Two of Spells being a divination card and seeing beyond. It's not simply about seeing, how do I put this? It's not simply about, oh, and it's funny, and the character who is the earthbender on Avatar, she was blind. So that's very interesting for this reading. It's not about seeing just into kind of like the spirit world or anything like that, but seeing into the future, kind of having a sixth sense basically is a really key feature here. And it's interesting because we see here that you're not really showing people this sixth sense. Like, you're keeping it to yourself and you're not really sharing that you have this gift or ability. And so with Nine of Pentacles, it's quite interesting. We have like a couple of different themes. This has to be a different theme. Oh my gosh, this is going to bug me that I can't place this with the rest of the reading. And it came up upright first. It was like important, right? It was like significant, and I couldn't even place it. Okay, so it will fit in. Like, I know that, you know, I never get to a reading where like something just doesn't fit in. So anyway, so Nine of Pentacles, you're going to enter this period of your life where it's like really relaxation and independent time for you. You're really luxuriating in your finances. I see you as someone who's pretty good at making money. There's a component here that you've kind of saved up a lot and you're feeling ready to kind of like release that kind of energy into the atmosphere and kind of indulge a little bit. And so with Nine of Pentacles, it's interesting. We also have this bird here on her shoulder, right? And it's just indicating to me, it's right there, that you're listening to kind of like some kind of guide or some kind of force besides just your own mind that's kind of helping you with these situations. This could be just signs from the universe, specifically maybe like birds flying as actually a sign that you see. And when you see a bird fly in a specific direction, it might be indicating something like going on in like your mind, or a reflection of how your thoughts are moving in your mind or something like that. With Nine of Pentacles, there's just an aspect of like taking it easy and relaxing. And we definitely see in this next phase of your life, you'll know you're coming into this next phase because you're going to feel like really luxuriating in your own sense of self, right? In your own persona, in your own person. You're going to really feel like, you know what? Like, I'm kind of worth it. And it's very similar to the last group. Very similar as far as like the whole identity. There's a theme about identity here. It just leads into a different direction. There's a different aspect to it. Yeah, let's continue on, because the Nine of Pentacles I'm saying is just kind of like a simple, like you have money, you're spending your money, you're enjoying your money. And it's almost like a thing that's not going to change. You're still going to be able to make your money, all that good stuff. With the Seven of Spells card, this indicates that people are wary of you. If you look at all these dwarves, they're trying to poke this, let me see. They're trying to poke this dragon, right? There's a whole element that they're in, the dragon is kind of like more powerful than them, and also at the same time they like are aware of that, and they're trying to poke it because they don't know. The dragons also, you can think of this dragon as very mysterious, right? They have all these torches indicating that they're trying to shed light on the situation, or trying to shed like a sense of like knowing on this situation. Basically, the thing is like, in a sense, the thing is you're going to start to realize people are kind of in a way hostile towards you because you're not revealing your true self. And that's where Show the World the Real You comes into play. Also, this moon is purple, indicating the crown chakra. So yes, your third eye might be open and you have this great ability to divine the future and all of that. But if you open your crown chakra up, you'll be further connected to the people around you. And that's going to ease a lot of this tension right here. This is directly related, right? Because we see here that going within yourself and kind of luxuriating in your own sense of independence away from others, it draws some hostility towards you, right? Because people don't know what to make of you. You're not really showing your intuitive abilities, basically. And so people are like, what do we make of this person? Like they're kind of hidden, or they're not really sharing their full selves. Like there's something about them that we don't really see, and they're not really revealing it. And that makes me nervous. It's like all these kind of thoughts that people are having, a lot of people just can't let something that they don't understand be. It's like if there's a sense of like someone being strange or different, they really don't know how to relate to that, right? And that's interesting because it's really weird how this manifests in this next stage of your life, because you'll notice a really cool thing on your journey. This could be a journey too, just to put that out there, that takes a long period of time. You might be the type of person who's like, reveal myself. I would never do that. But that's because it's going to happen maybe over a long period of time. The next step in your journey is possibly like a long period of your journey. Yeah, you'll have points in between those journey points, but this could be a long part of your journey, or it could be a short one. It kind of just depends on you. But showing the world the real you is key here, right? Because it takes all these dwarves, right, and turns them into followers. What we see here in the leadership card. Now it's interesting. I just realized what the Eight of Pentacles is, right? It's kind of confirmation that this is going to take a long time or a lot to work on, right? The Eight of Pentacles is typically like a craftsman who is kind of creating one thing after the other, and kind of creating, how do I put this? There is a message that I'm getting with this Eight of Pentacles card, and because these are dwarves here, or gnomes, and I definitely see gnomes as like working hard on things, I'm definitely seeing that there's kind of like a aspect of you being a boss over others, and kind of in a situation where they have to do kind of like repetitive work. And so I'm definitely seeing here with this kind of like dragon mentality that you're kind of in a way above them as far as like your stature and your being. And we definitely see you have some definite intuitive gifts, right? That the more you kind of show the world the real you, the more these people are going to want to work for you. The more these people are going to want to follow you. The more these people are going to want to be around you. And specifically with the Eight of Pentacles, it's pointing to work and stuff. It's pointing to the fact that these people want to follow in your path, or work kind of like. And a lot of these people are probably really good with routine, that are coming to you, or that are kind of like seeing your true self. You're going to attract a lot of people like that with this Eight of Pentacles card. This could indicate also a place of education. So this could be a situation where you're in school and you're kind of dealing with a group of people, and they're really hesitant to let you join the group. But if you kind of show them some of your abilities, some ways that you can actually provide insight into the situation with seeing beyond and the Two of Spells, they might really respect you because of that. Yeah, definitely with leadership, you definitely gain all these dwarfs, these little angry dwarfs, as like followers eventually. So the same people that kind of were angry towards you, as soon as you start revealing who you are, and as soon as you start kind of being yourself, or showing the world the real you, they're kind of going to follow you. This could also be with Eight of Pentacles, you working on a craft. It's so weird. This card's so weird. It's standing out to me, but it's not like coming to me. And this is like really rarely happens to me when I do a reading, like very rarely. There could be something where you're doing a craft, or you're all working on a project together, or creating some kind of thing over and over again, creating some kind of repetitive product over and over again. And you're just kind of really gonna blow these people's minds once you start showing them who you are. So with leadership, it's definitely something about you becoming a leader. There's something with 8 and 1 creating 9. 9 is kind of like the highest number. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then after 9, it goes back to 1 or 0 after that. So you have 9 is kind of like the highest singular number. So think of yourself kind of being this singular leader that has all these people following them. The more you show them the real you, you're going to create more people who believe in you and who are going to want to work for you. With the Strength card, it's interesting because I definitely see here that with the Strength and 10 of Wands, there's something about physical strength that's coming through too, and that I was seeing also with the 8 of Pentacles, because initially I was seeing the reading kind of divided like right down the middle, but there's something about getting really physically strong. With the 10 of Wands also, this indicates like having a lot of responsibilities, or a lot of projects or jobs, or a lot of taking on a lot of responsibilities of others. And with the Strength card here, we see that you gain a sense of strength. And with this leadership, almost you are able to delegate, but it's like, how do I put this? The more you show them the real you, the more work everyone can do. The more work you can do, the more work they can do, the more work like pretty much anyone in the environment can do. And with the strength card, it really indicates a strong sense of self, of taming those wilder instincts in them that kind of were raging at you. You know, you kind of tame the beast in them, and they kind of, in a way, tame the beast in you. Or you kind of tamed your own beast is the best way to put it. And so the fact that like you start showing them who you are is really important here, showing them your intuitive gifts, showing them what you see even when you're kind of working on their talents. It's almost like one by one, you're kind of seeing into their abilities, seeing into their talents, their what they're good at, and kind of cultivating kind of their talents within them, you know? You're able to use these gifts to kind of cultivate that in others, so which is really cool. I'm definitely seeing you becoming really strong. Physically strong is coming through really potently. So if you also are someone who works on your physical strength, like maybe you go to the gym, or maybe you have an exercise program, or maybe you do like aerobics or calisthenics or something like that, that's coming through really strongly too, that you're going to be strong in that way. Yeah, there's something about health with the 10 of Wands indicating completion. You're going to end this journey feeling like very strong, very durable, very capable of taking on a lot, because you know that you have backup, you have people in your people are following you. You're kind of like becoming this full-blown leader. And with the strength card, it's just so interesting because she's like just has these flowers and there's this wolf next to her, you know. There's almost a power in this card. You know, there's a power and a serenity. It's almost like by the end of this growth journey, you're going to be happy. You know, it's not really the 9 of Pentacles where you're kind of like overindulging in kind of your own luxury that you've created for yourself, you know, and being independent away from people. But the strength card shows true inner strength. It shows true kind of understanding and compassion for the self. And that can bring more inner peace and more peace in general than kind of just luxuriating in kind of like your own wealth or your own prosperity. So I'm definitely seeing that there's something about super strength, like super strong energy coming through. It's interesting. The more you show these intuitive gifts and the more you become less of like the weirdo and the more you become like the leader that people follow. You know, people really are drawn to your energy once you start showing them that intuitive side to your nature. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you like this reading, you can like or comment below. If you really enjoyed this reading and you really resonate with my energy, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And with that said, we're going to move on to the next group. I really enjoyed reading for you guys. The last group with the water bracelet, group 4, is next. Hey, group 4, this is if you picked the water bracelet. So let's get into your reading. I pre-drew the tarot cards for this reading. And yeah, we're also going to draw some oracle cards that I'm going to shuffle on camera. So we'll start with the Moonology deck, and we'll see what comes up for the water bracelet. Those of you who picked the water bracelet. I see the Hermit is up here upright with his light, and it's reminding me of illumination and seeing clearly. And also with the Hermit, it's kind of like about isolating yourself to see clearly. And the first thing that came up was like epiphanies or understandings while you're alone, or kind of like keeping hidden from your environment. So that might be something that is resonating for a lot of you, or that is going to be a part of this reading. We have the answers you need are coming. We'll draw an Oracle of the 7 Energies card. That full moon in Gemini is interesting. It's the same color as the bracelet. It has that blue color to it. And that's kind of dealing with the throat chakra, that color. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Oh, this one wanted to pop up. The land between. And we're going to draw a numerology guidance card. Okay. And we have abundance. Wonderful. It's funny, this card is pink, and it's interesting. Pink according to some other tarot readers, represents freedom. So it's kind of interesting there. Let me draw over the rest of your, or flip over the rest of your tarot cards, and we will get into your reading. We have 5 of Visions with this frog and this woman and her ball falling into the lake. Then we have Seeker of Boons. We have 6 of Swords. Oh yeah, I flipped that over because I'm not taking reversals in the readings today. So 6 of Swords, 6 of Challenges, a lot of 6s, and 3 of Cups. Oh, it's so crazy. 6 of Swords is the same as 6 of Challenges. Interesting. Okay. This one took me a second to figure out, but I'm pretty sure I got it. This is a kind of a cool, almost literal kind of spread here. It's interesting because, okay, let me just get into it. So the Hermit energy is really important here because this next phase of your life, it requires a lot of, not just waiting, but looking within for guidance. So when you know when because it says the answers you need are coming, this can more be read as the journey you need is coming, right? So, and it's interesting, there are 2 people on this card, or 2, with Gemini, there's 2 people. There's an aspect that someone is coming to like whisk you away, basically. So with this 5 of Visions card, it's interesting because we see this kind of frog here, and there's a woman who dropped a ball in the lake, right? This frog, think of the frog, the frog prince, I guess you could say, or what's that word, you know, where the, you know, what's it that show? Is The Princess and the Frog? Anyway, the frog is a prince, right? And the woman comes and kisses the frog, and then they turn into a prince, right? You can think of that as kind of, you're like waiting for this person to come along and kind of capture you and take you on a journey, right? So basically what we see here with the Hermit card is you're kind of in this frog state of mind where you're in your pond, and then all of a sudden this ball falls into your pond, and there's this person chasing the ball. Once they get there, they kind of find you, and that's kind of like part of the beginning of the journey. Right here with the Seeker of Boons, this shows that they're looking for you and they're trying to find you. And it's interesting. It takes a while because it's almost like once they find you or they drop their ball in your lake, it takes them a while to realize that you're there. So this next step in your journey is kind of like waiting for someone to kind of realize you're like right in front of them, right? And it's kind of one of those things where, you know, you're just patiently waiting, you're thinking, and you're kind of like reflecting on your own life. You're not even too worried about this person. They've entered your life. This is also indicating that this person coming in could have entered your life already, and they're kind of already in your pond or already in your area, and you haven't really seen them yet because you're kind of just self-reflecting, coming up with epiphanies, getting those answers that you need. And with the Seeker of Boons, they're kind of looking around this area for you. And once they find you, it kind of creates this journey, right? This is a very almost literal interpretation of the next steps on your journey. There's not too many like metaphors or anything. There's kind of a literal progression of activities going on. With Seeker of Boons, it's like they're looking for their ball, but it's kind of like it's submerged in your lake. So there's kind of a metaphor here for them looking for something that they can't really find, that they let go of, that they dropped. And so in a way, you with this hermit, with this light, you're able to help them find this object. And so in this next part of this journey, you're helping them find this object. And then once that happens, you guys kind of become friends. With the Six of Swords here, it shows both of you kind of on a journey or kind of on a progression onward to the next stage. And so both of you kind of like, you can think of this time, and with the land between, it's kind of indicating that there's almost like, let's put it this way. It's one of those things where it's like the journey is the destination. You know, the journey, I mean, the thing is you get a destination as well. You get an end point, but the journey is also the destination. You meet this kind of friend on this next stage of your journey. And with these two children here in the boat, it's reminding me of a childlike curiosity towards the world. You guys kind of go on a journey together. You decide you want to travel. Maybe you want to take a trip and you want to travel. You want to go on an adventure or something like that. And I definitely see you guys traveling on this adventure, going to a different land. And with the land between, it's kind of like the place that you kind of, it's not really the place you end up in, but it's the place that you kind of pause on your way. Like you're kind of going on your way, and the part where you kind of like pause on your way, you're like, whoa, this place is pretty cool, right? So it's interesting because the answers you need are coming. It's like you've been in this inner world for so long, right? Kind of like reflecting on your own answers, your own spiritual beliefs and stuff. This person kind of walks into your territory and they kind of become friends, and you kind of go on their kind of journey with this is a seeker of boons. You kind of become like a seeker and kind of go with them on a journey, right? With this water, it could be crossing an ocean. It could be doing anything together. So your journey could just indicate like a strong sense of friendship that you both have, that you kind of are traveling the world together. You feel like you're through thick and thin. With the two twins, Gemini, there could be a twin flame thing going on here where this person's like a twin flame. And with the answers you need are coming, it's just indicating that like the things that worry you or the things that trouble you or trouble them, you guys are seeking them, you're finding them. It's funny because you think you're going to find them at your destination, but really you think you're traveling from this land to this land, but by taking this detour and taking this bridge, you realize that, I don't know if you can see that up there. There's like a gazebo or something up there. And so you get to this like little palace, I guess you could say, and you really realize that like this is where you want to be. Now it's interesting, when you get to this palace, you kind of realize this is where you want to be, but it's almost like it's a little hard to either like fit in with the group, or it's interesting. There's a few interpretations of this card. With the wolves at the bottom of the tree, it's almost like you have a hard time fitting in or being on the same level as these wolves. At the same time, there is a third person coming in, and you're rescuing them from a specific situation. So you and this friend that you created are rescuing another person from a tricky situation, from basically some bullies that are kind of picking on them, and you kind of like step in and you get in their way and you kind of like help them out. And it's interesting because through this like helping, you build this like really strong and powerful friendship. Now here's the cool thing. It's like the three of you combined creates this sense of abundance, right? Look at those three of cups. This is kind of like a threesome of people or a group of people or the beginnings of a group of people that are really going to click and connect with. These are like friends for life. This is kind of the vibes of kind of like creating kind of like the energy of like, it's interesting because we have an Avatar. I'm going back to Avatar because it's interesting. It's coming up in this reading, but with the water sign Avatar, if you've watched Avatar, I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher their names. There's the guy, and then Katara, right? And then Aang, and Katara's brother, right, is the other guy. And they're all three of them go on this journey together. And it's just them for the longest time. And that's kind of how you guys are building your group. It's like two of you kind of started your journey out. You saved a friend from a tricky situation. And then over here with this three of cups, you have this like beautiful trifecta. There's a strong synergy with this group that you're creating. And that's really a powerful thing, because with this abundance card, it's creating a few things. Like the freedom that I mentioned, you guys give each other a lot of space and energy to like do various things in your lives. With the 8 and the 8, that strong sense of abundance is really there, and you guys kind of create this sense of wealth around you. You create this kind of sense of bounty, of pleasure, kind of just whatever kind of can go where it goes. It's interesting because for a lot of you, it's just like you're meeting two new friends, right? You're meeting one friend and then you're saving another friend from a tricky situation, and it creates this beautiful threesome of like people that you're kind of dealing with, basically. And kind of like the answers you need that are coming are like these people coming into your life. With these two people, you can think of these as like two people coming into your life. Now, for some of you, one of these people could be a romantic interest. Like, for example, this person who came into the very beginning, who found you and you go on this journey with, they could be a romantic interest. Or this third person you find could be a romantic interest. I do want to say that it might be important to keep things friendly between all parties, because I definitely see all three of you traveling together for a while. So if you don't want any kind of sticky situation, or you're not quite sure if it's the first person or the last person who's going to be the romantic interest, or the one that's like your true soulmate, I would just wait it out and kind of like wait till you meet both parties is kind of my advice. Obviously, if you really truly fall in love with this person when they come in, you can, that's your person, obviously, if you have those strong feelings. But I'm definitely seeing a harmony in this Three of Cups. So there is not really a sense of like hard feelings. There's not really a sense of like issues. For those of you who are looking for like a polyamorous relationship or something like that, this is a really beautiful sign that you're going to find a beautiful threesome with three people who really coordinate and cooperate together. This is really kind of quite a beautiful thing. I definitely see the beginnings of starting like a family or a community, like a small knit group of like friends that kind of hang out and protect each other. Protection is really strong here with these wolves here. I definitely see that you and this friend that you create, right, are very strong against bullies. Like something about the synergy between you and them creates this like sense of like, you're like a powerhouse, like where you can kind of like take down enemies if they ever get in your way or something like that. It's like the other person provides that side to you that you kind of didn't know you needed to kind of get through the tough difficulties in life. And so when you save this friend, it like creates more of this bond because they feel like, oh my gosh, these people rescued me, these people like saved me. And so they have this sense of like feeling, not indebted, just loyal to you, both of you. And it really is interesting because all three of you get along really, really great. So in a sense, you have an abundance of friendship, but this golden color here also makes me think that you're going to be bringing in a lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of material abundance as well. But this abundance is just a general thing. You're going to create kind of a cornucopia of like enjoyments with this group of people. And it's interesting because you think that your destination's this other side of this land, but it's really the land between. It's this kind of floating land that you find or you stumble upon. That is the area or the place where all three of you are going to thrive pretty well. Very interesting. I had a comment recently talk about me making a where will you live next type of reading. This could be something about moving with the Six of Swords here and having it doubly confirmed here, even though the imagery is different. There's something about moving or traveling or something like that, or kind of being in a different location. This is really a really cool reading as far as like how like it's just kind of a progression of a story rather than kind of like too many like it's very like simple, I guess is the best way to put it. It's a very simple reading, but those are kind of needed sometimes, With the throat chakra, I definitely see here that like communication amongst the three of you is going to be like absolutely really, really nice. Your throat chakras are going to feel alive and vibrant. You're going to feel, how do I put this? It's going to be easy to communicate. It's going to flow like water. It's kind of like you guys fit into each other's nooks and crannies like really, really well. It's like you can anticipate what the other one says and vice versa. And it's just a really, really wonderful kind of connection that you have with these three people. So really you're calling in friendships with this next part of your journey. You're calling in friendships, and if you've kind of just been ruminating with your own personal answers and understandings of the universe and kind of really reflecting on your life, you're really calling in like a solid group of kind of friends that you're going to kind of tackle the world with and kind of keep in your life. So if you're looking for friendships, this was definitely the reading for you. Even if you're not looking for friendships and you still resonated with this pile, I definitely see these friends are going to be really, really cool and really, really good for you. Really, really healthy companions. So yeah, that was the reading. That was the end of it. Let me see if I can see anything more real quick. No, I think that's it. So if you like the reading, feel free to like or comment below. If you really like this reading and you resonate with my energy, please subscribe to the channel. We're always welcoming new subscribers here at Cody Tarot. And with that said, that was the last group for today. So we're going to wrap it up, and I will see you guys in the next pick a card. Bye.